Hey guys, and welcome back to the Yoga Doc. I'm Dr. Leah Deutsch, the founder of the Yoga Doc, and this is part 2 of a two-part sequence called Desk Hunch Fix. Part 1 is your ease sequence, which is a nice warm-up to this flow sequence, which will be a little bit stronger for you. So in terms of props for today's class, you're not going to really need very much. One thing that would be handy to have is a strap. So this doesn't have to be a particular yoga strap. You can use a dressing gown belt or any other normal belt. And what you're going to need to do is to place a little loop at the end of it here. So this is going to hook around your foot at a later point. The other thing that you might want to have handy is a yoga block. Again, substitutions would be a cushion or a box or a book to give you some elevation. So with all of my flow classes, I always say do a little bit of a warm-up. You can try the ease sequence that goes with this class, and the flow sequences are a little bit stronger. So if anything feels uncomfortable or painful in any way at all, or you're just not feeling it today, then do just take a moment and pause, take a breath, and either skip a part out or move on with the next part of the sequence. So we're going to start by moving gently, coming into a tabletop position, so all fours with your legs are hip width apart. Wrists are directly underneath your shoulders and knees are underneath your hips. Maybe you have a blanket underneath your knees for a bit of extra cushioning. And then start to breathe as we move into our cat-cow. So as you inhale, glide your chest forward, and as you exhale, tilt your tailbone down and round through your upper back. Inhale, gliding your chest forward, draw your shoulders away from the ears and find that length through the neck. Exhale, tailbone tilts down and round through the back. See if you can make this movement with the breath nice and fluid here, connecting movement and breath together, finding that intuitive connection. Coming back now to a neutral spine as you extend your right leg back behind you, flexing through the heel, and then start to lift it off the ground if you're able to do so with your balance. And draw the knee to the chest as you exhale, and as you inhale, extend back, reaching with the heel. Exhaling, drawing knee to chest, and inhaling, extend. Repeat that one more time. Nice fluid movements as you connect in with the breath. And then gently drop the foot back down to the floor. You're going to stretch out the front of the thigh into the psoas muscle now, which is great if you've been spending long periods at your desk. You put the strap around the right ankle and bring the length of the strap in front of you and lift it over the back so that it lays onto the left shoulder diagonally. Start to lift that right knee off the floor and push down into your right hand so that you create a little bit of support there. Starting to create a gentle traction here by extending the strap in front of you with your left hand and pushing into the strap with your right ankle. Aiming to balance the power that you're pushing through the leg and hand here so that you get this equanimity and balance between the front and the back of the body. Remembering you have control here and how much power you're putting into this pose. Releasing the tension on the strap as you draw the knee back into the elbow. And then extending one more time, so stretching forward with your hand as you lift the leg up. So this is a passive stretch rather than engaging the bum to draw the knee up. And then drawing the knee back towards the elbow one more time. And then finally one last lift here. So see if you can really extend, lengthen through the arms to create a bit more stretch through the front of the thigh, always being mindful of balance here. Releasing the grip on the strap and unhooking the strap from around your ankle, and just leaving it to the side for a little later in the other side. Setting up on your other side here, so preparing tabletop and checking your alignment, and then extending the left leg behind you as you lift it off the ground when you feel stable to do so. As you exhale, draw knee into chest, slightly rounding the back. Inhale, extend through the heel as you lengthen. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, lengthen back behind you, flexing through the heel. So active toes here, so pointing the toe as you draw in, flexing the heel as you extend back. With control, releasing the leg back down to tabletop. And grabbing hold of the strap, looping it round the left ankle and bringing the strap overhead diagonally so it rests on the right shoulder this time. Remember, you can always stay in the previous modification if this feels too unbalanced or difficult at this point in your pregnancy. So holding the length of the strap with the right hand, and finding that balance once again, so between that tension of the shin pushing into the strap and the lengthening of the arm out in front of you. So you start to feel a stretch through the front of the thigh here, but not pushing this too far and listening to your body. As you exhale, draw the knee into the chest, just releasing that stretch, and then coming back in one more time. So seeing if you can go a little bit deeper here, if that feels okay and balanced to do so. Exhale, release the tension, and then one last final stretch. Inhaling, draw the hand forward as you lift that back leg up, flexing through the heel, creating tension through the strap, and then releasing the strap, removing the loop from the ankle and moving the strap to the side. So moving back now into a seated position and sweeping your legs forward. Bring your bum forward a little bit and your hands behind you. So palms are flat on the floor and fingertips are pointing towards your bum. Keep a little softening bend in the elbows. Feet are hip width apart and feet are flat on the floor, knees are bent. And then start to push into the feet as you engage through the bum and lift the hips up into a reverse tabletop. Exhale, soften down, bending the elbows. Inhaling, pushing into hands and feet equally as you engage through the bum, extend through the front of the body. Moving with the breath as you inhale, pushing up and lifting into tabletop. Try and keep a little bit of a crease in the neck here so that you're not straining the legs. Either staying here or coming into Visvanasana now as you extend the legs out in front and come into that same lifted movement with the hips, with the legs extended. Bend the knees once again back into your reverse tabletop. As you inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, drop the bum, either staying there, extending the legs into Visvanasana, lifting up through the hips. Exhaling, bum to floor. Bend the knees, coming up to reverse tabletop. So we're moving with breath here, extending through the front of the body. Try and be nice and controlled here, engaging rather than swinging your hips up. So nice controlled movement here. Moving from that bent knee reverse tabletop to the extended leg version, or just staying with your tabletop. And releasing down to the floor. We're going to come into another little modification here to try and give some feedback to the pelvic floor here. So you can take your block, your cushion or your book and place it between the tops of the thighs here. We're going to squeeze the block between our thighs and then lift up. So you can notice now how you're engaging the pelvic floor here as you do this. Maybe start to extend the head a little bit here if that feels okay on your neck to do so. Lift up a little bit more, squeezing the block, lifting the hips, and then exhaling, releasing back down. And removing the block out the way, and we're going to rock forward now into a tabletop to come into our setup for our first downward facing dog. So making sure that your legs are hip width or wider. And then the hands are a little bit further in front of you, fingers spread nice and wide. Start to lift the hips up and sit the bum back down towards the heel. Bend the knees really strongly here to allow you to lift the hips up and not to dump the weight forward into the wrists. Bend the right knee, allow the leg to be nice and straight, stretching through the hamstring, and then switch legs. Left knee bends really strongly here so that that right leg gets a little bit of a stretch. Swapping legs one more time. Bending the right knee, extending the left. And then seeing if you can switch so the right heel lowers to the floor, left knee bends. Come into your neutral downward facing dog. You may want to adjust your legs here, so maybe have your feet a little bit wider than hip width if that feels more stable for you. And then start to walk the hands back to the feet, bend the knees as much as you need to, and then cradle the arms here in a ragdoll pose. Maybe sway a little side to side if that feels nice. Allow the neck to be nice and loose here, shoulders to be soft. Just let everything go and bend the knees to allow you to do that. Release the arms and really slowly roll up to standing one vertebra at a time. And just take a moment to pause into Dasana, grounding through the feet. You can inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, reaching up. As you exhale, bend the knees really strongly and sweep the arms out, down in front of you, walking the hands forward. Lower the knees and untuck the toes. Shift the weight forward into a tricep push-up here. And then walk the hands to the back of the mat. Fingertips point towards the toes as you lift the hips forward. Exhale, lower the bum to the floor. Walking the hands to the front of the mat as you spread the fingers. Tuck the toes and lift the hips back into your downward facing dog. Engage through the pelvic floor as you lift up. Right leg extends up and step the right foot behind the right wrist. Left foot plants down at a 45-degree angle, and then push into both feet equally as you lift up into your warrior one. And give yourself as much space as you can here, so that will help you with your balance. So maybe that means moving the right foot to the right side of the mat a little more here. Reach with the fingertips up towards the sky and draw the shoulders away from the ears as you bend into the knee a little more. Left arm sweeps back and rearrange the feet here so that the right heel lines up with the left arch. Coming into a warrior two setup with the legs, so try and draw the left hip back a bit so that the body is in line with the long edge of the mat. Reaching the fingertips long on the inhale, and then as you exhale, bringing the right elbow underneath the left so that you're hooking the arms together here into an eagle arm if that's available for you. If there's a lot of tightness in the shoulders, an alternative would be to hug the body, reaching for opposite shoulders. So worry less about what this pose looks like and more about the stretch that you're getting from behind the shoulder blades here. Releasing the arms out and then extending through that bent front leg. Heel toeing the back foot in preparation for triangle pose and bringing the left hand to the hips. As you extend with your right hand forward, you'll find space and opening up through the left side of the body. Have your block nearby so you can use your bottom hand to push into the block and create a rotation through into the front of the chest. If it feels okay to do so, then lifting that top hand up and maybe gazes to the fingertips, or perhaps the head is loose and you're looking to the floor. Noticing what it feels like to maybe lean the body back half an inch here as if you're resting into a wall behind you. And take a nice big breath here as you inhale, reach up with the fingertips. And then exhale, bending and softening through the knee, coming back up to standing. And just taking both feet to the front of the mat, shifting the block to the opposite side of your mat. And then shift the weight into the right foot, bend the knee a little here. Start to lift that left leg up, so bend the heel towards the bum and grasp around the inside of the foot with the fingertips. Reach the right hand up to the sky and then start to reach the hand forward. So see if you can get the body a little bit more upright here and push the foot into the hand, again creating that counter traction like we did at the beginning of class with the strap. Reach the hand up and forward rather than down, and then releasing, letting the leg go. Come to Tadasana. Heel toe the feet a little wider and sit back into a chair pose here. Tailbone draws to the floor and lift up with the chest, finding expansion and lightness in the top of the body and a grounding down through the heels. The toes are light here. And exhaling, drop the hands to the floor as you bend the knees as much as you need to do so. Inhale, lift halfway, hands to shins. Planting both hands on the floor here as you step the left foot back, right foot back. Hips are over the knees, and then you're going to bring that body down into a wide arm press up. Walk the hands to the back of the mat and fingertips point towards toes as you lift the hips up. And walking the hands forward once again, fingertips plant down, tuck the toes, and then allow the hips to lift to the back of the mat into your downward facing dog. Sweep the left leg up on the inhale. As you exhale, step it forward behind the left wrist. Plant the feet back down into your preparation for warrior one, so make sure they're wide enough to help you with your balance. Firmly push down into both feet as you lift up into your warrior one, readjusting the feet if you need to, and just trying if you can draw that right hip forward. Lift up with the fingertips and expand through the chest, shoulders draw away from the ears. Find a breath here, and then as you exhale, you're going to sweep your right hand back, left arm forward, checking in with the alignment of your feet here so that the front heel is in line with the back inner arch. And then see if you can just shift your weight forward and back a little here so that you find that central point in the middle. Shoulders draw away from the ears once again and push into the outer edge of your back foot. And take a breath here and find a stillness. And then sweeping the arm, so left arm underneath right this time, into either your eagle arm variation, or once again, alternative would be to hug your body so that you're grasping opposite shoulders. And release any tension that might be holding in the jaw and the neck here, and just breathe. Letting go of whatever variation of the arms you have back into warrior two arms, and then heel toe that back foot into your triangle setup. Maybe bring that right hand to the hip for stability as you reach the left arm out in front of you. bringing the block or the cushion, whatever you have there, to create a little bit of that counter rotation. And feel the tailbone draw down towards that back heel, finding an opening through the front of the hips and into the side of the body. Maybe releasing the top arm, and gaze can be up again to the ceiling or maybe straight ahead, wherever feels comfortable for your own neck. Just breathing here, pushing equally into both feet, finding strength through the thighs. Bring the hand back to the hip and move the block out the way and stepping to the front of the mat once again. Finding your setup for dancer's pose as you sweep your arms up overhead. Bring your right elbow into your right hip and reach up with the left hand. Palm is facing up on that right hand and bend into the left foot as you shift the weight over to the left side. Lift the right foot up into that palm of your right hand and then start to lift up with the leg. Reach forward with the left hand so that there's a lift in the front of the chest. See if you can tilt that right hip down to the floor a little bit. Find that equal traction between that pull on the foot and reach of the hand so that you're stretching through the front of the thigh, and then with care release. Sink down into your chair pose once again, feet to hip width or wider. Reach lightly up with the fingertips, tailbone draws down, so you try to eliminate a bit of that arch in the lower back. Hug your baby in towards your spine. Exhale, allowing the body to tilt forward, softening here, and make sure the feet and hip width are wider. And take your block underneath your shoulders to press your hands into, lengthen through the spine. And then soften the body back down once more. Bend the knees as much as you need to here and allow the hands to rest on the block or the cushion or whatever you have there. And just being here for a moment more in this nice passive stretch. When you're ready, move the block to the side, step the left foot, the right foot back, coming into one last vinyasa, shifting forward or back into your variation of a press up. Walk the hands to the back of the mat as the fingertips point towards the toes, lift the hips. Walk the hands forward and bring the knees wide and come into a child's pose here, resting the head to the floor. And just taking several breaths here. Allow your body to rest, feel the benefits of your practice as you finish in this final resting pose. Maybe have a cushion under your head if it feels nice to do so. And staying here for as long as you need to. Allow the bum to sink down towards the heels, your belly to be soft. And just taking as long as you need to here and coming into a final resting pose, Shavasana, whenever you're ready, taking several minutes to consolidate your practice. Well done for completing this challenging class today. If you've enjoyed it, then do hit like and don't forget to hit subscribe for more notifications of other classes. Namaste.